All right, and then kind of related, but just some frequently asked questions that I've listed out. I think these will be helpful to, go back to in the presentation in case there are any future questions about these general inquiries about paid media. So the big one we usually get, or we want to address, is the difference between SEO and PPC for multifamily. So in general, SEO helps with your organic visibility, so your property website. I'm improving your ranking in terms of keywords in general, where your property website ranks. PPC and Google Ads in general help to basically give you immediate traffic and conversions instead of having to wait for your your organic website and your property website to gain some growth or gain some traction. SEO builds that long-term growth of your property and your website, and then your paid advertising is the quick, sustainable results where we can pay for our position, invest a little bit in the property itself, and then in turn turn the leads into leases rather quickly. That's the big difference between SEO and PPC. Any questions on this one? This is another big one. When a property gets stabilized, should we continue to run ads even if we are stabilized and not looking to push necessarily for a ton of leads? We absolutely advise to continue running ads, at least some form of advertising. It could be on a limited budget. It can be just for branded keywords so that when someone searches your property name, your ad still appears. It can be on a specific subset of keywords, but we always want to push our digital presence, and pausing the ads totally and not running any advertisements for a given period will really deter your online presence. It can reinstate a learning phase for Google. It can cause you to lose traction on the ads we currently have running. So we would always recommend you continue to run ads year round, no matter if you're stable, your lease up, whatever phase you're in. It would be beneficial to have some form of digital advertising at all times. Any questions on this point?
But you recommend maybe lowering the budget.
Exactly. Yeah. And we could provide a recommendation for what we would do. You can also use that tool in Multi-Hub where it listed out the maintenance budget. Depending on the number of leads you'd want to see come through, you can look at that. If it says 1,800 and you'll see 60 leads come through, if that's a fair number of leads for your team, then we can implement that. Or you can come to us, submit a ticket and say, we're at whatever, 97% occupancy. Can you give us a maintenance budget for the next 90 days? We'll calculate it based on what we see in Google Ads, and then we'll provide that to you. Another major question, why aren't we just sending ad traffic to our main website? Going back to the Rent Now landing page that we utilize, like Corbin had mentioned, we optimize the landing page for conversions. Our landing pages convert really well relative to multifamily and also relative to the entire Google landscape. So a main website has a lot of pages you have to click through, a lot of menus as well. Opens up the potential for a user to get sidetracked. And it's just a lot of steps for a future renter to go through to submit a form. The landing pages pushing all the traffic towards a specific form with a phone number, really clear for a user to make a call or submit a form. It lets us test out different headlines, calls to actions, and more to see what works. So we don't have to be editing anything on the property website. We create the landing page. We can make small edits to our own landing page. And so it just separates the traffic sources a bit and pushes the users to essentially an easier path to submit that lead.
And so when the leads come into CRMIQ, is it going to reflect it as a PPC lead?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yeah. And same thing with Meta. If we have social ads active, it'll do the same thing. It'll show through Facebook.
Can I add? That's
Yeah.
a really great question. One of the reasons we started this strategy is it essentially guarantees control of that tracking information and attribution for us and for you, so that when somebody comes to the page, we 100% track and send it into your DRM. Whereas in the event you send them to your website, there may be some tracking at some point throughout that user journey where that attribution is lost.
Right.
And then it just shows up as property website. You have your property website leads, and man, everybody just visits our website and it's just like that doesn't seem right.
Well, and that seems to happen with the SEO. When we're spending money for that, it really comes in as a website lead, and I mean, they can tell if it's a unique visitor or if it's a return visitor, but still kind of.
Yeah, SEO is a little bit more complex. You can do some things in the Google Business Profile that assist, but even then, the dedicated landing page strategy is something that has really been impactful and beneficial for paid advertising in particular. But yeah, SEO can get if you get to do that.
Can you pull up Florida?
Yeah. Yep.
Probably most people haven't seen them. If you look, the new ones especially look really good.
I think this is one of the new ones actually right here, right? Is this one of the new ones or no?
No,
No. Let me see.
Look at Tesla showers.
Yeah. Let me try to go into.
Or the old
I
ones.
was finding when I first saw it, I was like, who's right now? Where's this coming from? I didn't get it.
No,
Believe
it's
it or not, one of the things we found in implementing these landing pages is it actually brings, it gets somebody to submit their information roughly 2, 3, and sometimes 4 weeks earlier in the process, in their apartment search process, than they would if you were sending traffic to the next time. So you essentially get a 2, 3, or 4 week head start on your competition because you're getting that lead well before anybody else will. And it's just because of the way that things are structured, and needs to submit their information and find things particularly centered around your property and your property.
It's still, I think one of the older ones.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the URL of the,
I think so. Maybe check all your.
yeah, I was gonna.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. I got most of them saved. Oh, that one's easy one too. Let's see.
The other thing that, it's hard for you all to see this, but when we get updated photography, we got to update these sites, and that sometimes gets overlooked because we don't see them on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Flagship terms.
I think this one.
This is still the old. I don't remember the URL. Do you have the URL? Oh, okay.
They're pretty much rentnow.yourpropertyurl.com will get you to the landing page.
That's one of the new ones.
We can drop videos in there and stuff, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yep. It's got everything on one page, so you can look at the floor plans, view or a view of actual availability. You don't have to scroll through subpages.
Mm-hmm. Really clean.
Meant strictly to get that conversion.
Absolutely. Awesome. Oops.
From a content standpoint, we want those landing pages to play fast as possible. Load really quick. We want the content to be served. So we can definitely add things. We may have suggestions on best practices. So, for example, comparatively, if you were to go to your apartments.com or see your property, they don't autoplay video. They probably have the video as like a tabbed option that you can access, and that's to help speed up all of those things on. We'll likely suggest something similar. It's like, hey, we can definitely incorporate that. It's not going to keep autoplay, and maybe it's in a carousel a little bit further down, so that we can really make sure that those pages are loading fast. Because believe it or not, it's actually part of a score that Google likes to work with in your ads. Where if your landing page is super slow, they'll give you a lower score and you'll pay more for clicks and not show up much.
Mm-hmm. And moving into the last couple questions here. Why don't I see my ad when I search on Google? So we've had some inquiries about this where maybe on-site teams or other users might search for the ad and they won't see it appear immediately, and so they'll question whether we're even serving ads for Google. But again, they're optimized to serve ads to the users who are most likely to convert. It's going to use your previous search history and your search behavior to indicate whether to serve the ad. You're also not going to see the ad served 100% of the time for every keyword. Otherwise, we'd have 100% impression share, and we would need a really large budget for that. And your location, the device, like I said, the past behavior, all these can disqualify you from seeing the ad. So it's not a great indication if you just make a search and you don't see the ad. I prefer if you came to us and said, what is our impression share or what are our numbers for this specific keyword? we can provide that, or you can look in multi-hub and go to the keyword report. And you can look at how your keyword performance is for whatever search query you just made. So even though you didn't see it, you can look and see, oh, when the other 600 people searched apartments in Atlanta, we got 8 conversions from that search. We only spent this amount of money. So it is actually converting and users are actually seeing it.
Question is super important because it's the one that Brian asks you guys all the time.
Yeah, just
Right,
make sure.
right.
Yes.
So keep those in mind. Even though you tell them that, it's not gonna help, but,
It's not, it looks like I don't see it.
but still, those are the reasons.
Yeah.
We can still do IP restrictions,
I think so,
right? One thing we did, we joked around with kind of serious. So one thing we used to do back today is we used to, because you can put like an IP restriction in the ad or in the campaign, so you could restrict somebody's where they're accessing the internet from seeing the ads. We used to tell people like, hey, just to save money, we restricted your IP.
yeah.
How do we do the opposite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last couple questions, just meta leads compared to Google leads. I know I mentioned it, but meta leads generally have lower quality. They're more discovery based. So Meta is trying to discover some additional traffic that doesn't have initial intent there. No one's making a search for your property to view a meta ad. Meta ad's serving those ads to likely qualified users based on their history. So since they're not searching for apartments at that time, the intent's a lot lower. The behavior has indicated Meta should serve the ad, but meta ads need a little bit more to convert in terms of nurturing and such, just because they're not as further down the lead funnel. So that's why when you see a larger number of meta ads come in or meta leads come in compared to Google leads, you're likely just to see them convert at a little bit of a lower rate since there's not as much intent behind them. And then lastly, some preventative issues that we've run into in terms of spam leads and such, what our team's doing to basically combat this. Obviously, spam's pretty inevitable. You're going to get some sort of spam in your lead generation campaigns. But like I mentioned, the CAPTCHA on every Google landing page that we've implemented has really helped deter a lot of the bot or spam leads that we've had. It also adds an extra step that users have to complete, which again, only the most intentful users are going to complete those additional steps. So that has helped a ton as well. And then like I mentioned on the SMS confirmation codes across all the meta ads, when you check that box in the meta ad, once someone hits their submission for the form, it's going to send them a verification code. Then they have to fill that verification code out as well. So again, increasing the intentfulness of the form submission has helped greatly in filtering out that lower intent and bot leads from being sent through. And then before we conclude, just wanted to open the floor to any other questions that I could answer prior to the QBR about anything I went over. I can go back to any slides or any topic that would be needed. Good. All right. Thank you everyone for joining me and everyone virtually. I appreciate it.
Take a short break and then we'll jump into that.